and welcome back to I Love Awful Things, the show that YouTube just doesn't want to exist.
Exactly.
We're gonna count this as sort of a Season 2. Season 1 left on a pretty good finale where we were promising lots of episodes that never happened, and so I feel like this would be a good return. Essentially what happened is every video we have ever done has been copyright claimed. Every last one of them. We've disputed every one, we've gotten each one put back up, but I'm talking even the Nosferatu episode that was completely royalty free and we had every right to do, even that got copyright claimed because I hummed a little song.
I think the lesson is not to have any humming of any songs ever in our shows. And also, not too long of clips, I guess. That's my fault, I do the editing.
Season 2 should be good, though. We got some cool stuff coming up. We want to review some video games. We have a trip in August to go meet Bruce Campbell, so that should be fun. Just a lot of stuff like that. But I think the thing that YouTube doesn't realize is we don't get views.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter whether or not we're copywriting.
Nobody
Nobody watches us anyway.
The only people that watch this show are our friends, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So, I don't get why we would get copyright strikes. Also, it's not like we're bagging on movies. We tell people to watch these films.
We're recommending these movies that we're reviewing. It's not... We don't do negative reviews. That's the entire point of our show, is to not do negative reviews, except for me sometimes.
I think the biggest thing, like our biggest offender is Fox.
Definitely Fox. Yeah.
Fox has copyright claimed our videos so many times, even on stuff that they don't own. Fox has legitimately put copyright claims on, like, Robot Monster. That's not theirs.
That was... yeah.
Shout Factory also put a claim on that, but at least Robot Monster belongs to them. But
yeah, Fox... We don't do that much Fox stuff here.
Well, we did quite a few Fox videos. Comparatively, compared to other...
But it's almost all of our videos are getting Fox claimed.
We got straight up foxed.
Yeah, I guess.
We got hit with the Fox box.
Anyway.
Alright, so to the review, because we've said enough about YouTube, everybody's said enough about YouTube. The movie I showed Tim this week is a straight up horror classic.
Now, not to get it wrong, I've seen this movie hundreds of times before this.
Yeah, but this time I showed it to him the way I see it.
Yeah, the way his eyes pick it up as opposed to everybody else's.
I pointed out everything I liked. I pointed out every little detail that makes this movie better than any other movies. And that movie is Friday the 13th, Part 6. Now, a lot of people don't watch Friday the 13th past the fourth one.
And my opinion is that's just a wrong way to watch the movies.
Oh, definitely. But their reasoning for that is, in 4, Jason legitimately dies. He's dead. There's no way he can come back. But then you get to Part 6 after Part 5 was a total cop-out. And Tommy comes back. He goes to Jason's grave. He stabs Jason through the heart with some sort of metal pole. There's a lightning strike.
Multiple lightning strikes. Many strikes.
Frankenstein's him back to life in the coolest way possible. And then we're playing the feud.
And to be honest, it makes just as much sense as Frankenstein.
Oh yeah, maybe even a little more sense. At least it's one body. And it's a guy that's already had supernatural powers before.
There is that, yeah.
And what I really don't get is why people think that Jason came back to life for the first time in this movie. Because, if you remember the start of Part 4, he's in a morgue and everything. I'm pretty sure he's dead. He was hung. He's dead. He just gets up. I think that's kind of just Jason's thing. He just gets up.
I think the entire point is that you can't really kill him.
Part 2, they put a machete through him. Part 3, he just gets up. So, I guess we should jump right into this. What was your favorite kill?
My favorite kill is when that guy just gets crushed.
Yeah, when the guy gets crushed, that's a pretty good one. I like when he puts the chick's face through the camper.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
I love it. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, but it's hilarious.
But it's pretty neat, yeah.
There's a lot of gross out humor in this. Like, if you pay attention, the one girl's eating popcorn when she gets killed, and like there's blood all over the popcorn.
Yeah.
And clearly that's aimed at people.
And,
like, it's a movie theater tub of popcorn.
And I was currently eating popcorn while watching it, so I can get that, yeah.
Like a normal human being. Everybody eats popcorn when they watch this movie. The thing that I'd like to point out is this movie is a very good look into Jason's psyche. Like, he kills teenagers and he kills adults. But he has plenty of opportunities to kill children, and he doesn't do it.
It does seem like he holds back on killing children.
He has a moral aversion to it. Almost like he can only kill people that aren't innocent. Like, you see that a lot in Friday the 13th. Like, he's always killing people after they do drugs, or after they have sex, or after they sneak out of the house. He never kills innocent people.
It does seem like he's making sure that they've done something wrong in their life.
Like, when Tommy was a kid in Part 4, he never really goes after Tommy in that movie. He goes after Tommy's sister, and he's actually the distraction Tommy is when Jason gets killed in that movie. But now that Tommy's brought him back to life, he's really going after him.
Yeah, because he's
like
older and he's less innocent.
You're an adult now. I can hunt you down. I can kill you and be well within my twisted sense of morals.
Yeah.
Side note, the only time you ever see Jason Voorhees killing small children is in the NES game.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yep, he totally kills small children in that movie. Never does it before, has not done it since.
In that movie?
In that game. Are there any special parts you'd like to bring up?
I would like to say that I wish that the police officer, the girl's dad, hadn't died.
Oh, the sheriff? Yeah.
Yeah, because I wanted to see his apology. You know, I wanted to see him apologize for calling Tommy such a lunatic, I guess.
Yeah, here's the thing. I have this weird, like, Mandela effect memory. In my head, when we went back to watch this, I could have sworn her father lives and Tommy drowns with Jason. I could not remember the part where she drags Tommy out of the water and gives him CPR. I didn't remember that at all, and I thought her father lived. So it's like, maybe I was wrong about this movie. You know, when I see that, I'm like, well, I'm not remembering this movie correctly, you know. But after seeing the whole thing and, like, giving it the night and absorbing it again, I really do. I love this movie. This is my favorite Friday the 13th movie. It's the one that gets really silly, but is also super scary. I like the paintball scene probably the most. When they're running around playing paintball and he gets that guy's machete and he like throws the guy into a tree and his head like splatters on the tree. Then he falls to the side. He's like impaled on a limb. Mm-hmm. And like you see the carved smiley face and it's all bloody. There's an old man, the guy who works in the cemetery.
Right, yeah.
And they dig up Jason's grave, Tommy and his friend. And Jason kills the friend, Tommy gets away, and the friend is put into the coffin. And the old man, the gravekeeper, he covers up the coffin again, and he's like, all these kids, they had to dig up Jason on Friday the 13th, sickos, and he doesn't even check. He didn't even put him in right, and the boot's hanging out, and he just covers it up with dirt and fills it in. And then Tommy comes back, and he's like bringing the sheriff. You filled in the grave, didn't you? You gotta dig it back up, and he goes, dig it back up, what are you talking about? And you know full well that this guy knows what happened, didn't report it, and is completely lying about, you know, not having seen anything. And I think because of that, like, when he gets justice, like, you almost feel a little bad for him.
Right, yeah.
Because he's just an old drunk and, you know, he works in a cemetery and he favors the bottle a little too much. But he kind of deserves to die because, like, he could have fixed everything just by digging the grave back up and showing that it wasn't Jason in the grave.
And in these movies, when you say somebody deserves to die, it's not like in real life somebody would deserve to die for doing these things. It's just kind of like, for the sake of the movie, he deserves to die.
Oh, definitely. And you see that a lot. There are definitely people in this movie that I didn't want to die. Like the nerdy guy playing paintball, I didn't want him to die, but he did. Several people. there are lots of people in these movies you don't want to die, and then lots of people you're like, well, I expect them to die, and therefore I want to see them die because that's what I paid for.
Sometimes they literally have it written on their foreheads that they're gonna die.
Yeah.
Like in that scene when she says, put your headbands on, and they just say dead on their foreheads.
Oh, that's great. Isn't the thing, though, that when you get shot and with the paintball in the game that they're playing, if you get shot, you have to put the headbands on to signify that you're dead?
Yeah.
That was the whole deal? Yeah. And then Jason pops up, and he, like, decapitates all three of them when they're talking about how the nerdy guy could have never won. And then the nerdy guy's behind him, and he would have won.
He would have won. He was sneaking up behind him just as good as you could.
Just as good as you could. There's a little scene. The girl, I forget her name, but she helps Tommy escape, and like they're driving around in her orange Camaro. Awesome car, by the way. I love Camaro. But she's helping him escape, and like they get to a roadblock. She has him duck, and like this whole time she's driving around, even when there's no cops around. She's like shoving Tommy's head into her crotch. Yeah. She's all like, that's where I want it to be. Yeah. It's like really suggestive. And you're like, why doesn't she die?
Yeah, she probably should have died in this movie.
But her dad's an ass, and that's probably why he dies, but I didn't want that to happen. Oh, and the little girl. The little girl that knows exactly what's going on, because she keeps talking about there being, like a scary monster or a boogeyman. And, like, she prays to make him go away. Like, I think that really speaks to... That's the part I was talking about earlier, where Jason could have killed all these kids, but he didn't.
Right. He really could have just decapitated all those little kids right there. But that wouldn't really make good movie.
Yeah, I really think, like, it says something, if you're doing a character study of Jason, it says something about him, how he won't kill kids. But if you look at it practically, it's mainly just because the audience wouldn't accept that. They wouldn't like it. You know, filmmakers understand nobody wants to see a kid die.
So, what is your overall impression of this movie? What is your rating?
My rating... I think it's the best Friday the 13th movie, in my opinion. I think Friday the 13th is my favorite slasher series. This movie actually inspires me. I want to make my own slasher someday. I think that'd be cool. So just because of all that, I have to give it a 5-star rating. Completely
5 out of 5?
10 out of 10.
Well, I was going to give it more like a 7.
Can I get you to go to...
No, you can't do that. No more.
Oh, so season 2 is where you're drawing the line?
Well... Season 1's where I drew the line. The first time you did it was the line. You crossed it.
7.5.
No, 7. I'm not...
7.3.
I'm not going up from what I said.
7.2. 7.15.
No.
7.10001.
No.
7.00001.
7.
Alright, so for Tim it's a 7. For me, it's a 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5, however you want to put it. 8 out of 8, 7.5 out of 7.5.
115 out of 115.
Oh, you see? Tim changed his answer.
No,
115 out of 10.
No. 7 out of 10.
115 out of 10, you heard it here first.
Out of 10.
115 out of 2. Heard it here second. This has been... the premiere of Season 2 of the show that I do that YouTube doesn't want to exist, that I make for my friends.
Right.
I Love Awful Things Season 2, Take 1, cut.
Coming back at you.
See you next time.
Doing the things. Sitting here on a couch. Doing it right. I'm just going to snore as loud as possible and make sure I get on the recording.